Buckle up, Buttercup, because it's 2033 and everything's gone digital. Forget that dusty old real world. We're living in the cloud now, baby. The hottest new trend, uploading your consciousness into a virtual afterlife. That's right, instead of pushing up daisies, you can become a glorified video game character with your own memories. All for a hefty price, of course. Think you couldn't afford that mansion on the beach when you were alive? No problem. Just kick the bucket and upload yourself to Malibu Shores, where virtual money grows on virtual trees, because everything's virtual, duh. This whole upload shindig is run by a giant corporation that keeps a squad of programmers on hand to make sure your fake heaven looks real enough. Enter Nora, our resident afterlife concierge, stuck in a dead-end job, pun intended. Her daily grind? Guiding confused newbies through their glitzy new afterlife and answering existential questions like, "Can I get a double latte with oat milk here?" Nora hates her job, but hey, at least the company discount on her own eventual upload keeps her going. Meanwhile, we meet Nathan, a 27-year-old tech whiz with a serious need for speed. Stuck in a self-driving car programmed for safety, Nathan decides to play Grand Theft Auto in real life. He throws in a shady hard drive and takes control of the wheel, proving that even in a digital future, some people just gotta live life on the edge, or hurtle towards it at 100 miles per hour. So, Nathan's out here joyriding in his self-driving car, living life on the edge like a digital rebel, bypassing safety features, woo-hoo. Of course, the fun police, in the form of a drone, try to bust him, but Nathan Sweet talks his way out of it with the charm of a rusty trombone. Back at home, things get interesting, or should we say, clingy. Nathan's super-rich girlfriend, Ingrid, is basically Regina George with a credit card. Money and fame are her game, while Nathan's more of a family man. He'd rather wrestle his nieces and nephews than wrestle with paparazzi. Speaking of nieces, Ingrid gets all green-eyed when Nathan gets a little too jiggy with one during a dance party. This leads to some backseat ahem activities, which let's just say involved more bumps than a bad road trip. Nathan, ever the smooth operator, decides to refuel, his car, not the relationship, and heads to the grocery store. On the way back, disaster strikes. His car malfunctions like a toaster in a bathtub, and Nathan kisses a truck goodbye. He wakes up in the hospital, looking like he went 10 rounds with a grizzly bear. The doctor gives him two choices: become a fancy video game character, or, the traditional dirt nap. Enter Ingrid, who pulls out an upload contract faster than you can say, digital afterlife. Despite Nathan's look of pure terror, because, hello, eternity with Ingrid, he signs on the dotted line in a moment of panic. Next thing he knows, he's getting the royal treatment. Hospital gurney turned into a beheading chair? Not ideal, but hey, gotta separate the head from the body for that sweet upload. When Nathan finally wakes up, he's greeted by Nora, his very own afterlife tour guide. She runs him through some tests that would make a kindergartner scoff, throws him a virtual makeover, who doesn't love a mandatory hair lift in the afterlife, and deposits him in his fancy new digs for all eternity. So, Nathan wakes up in Lakeview, which is apparently the hottest afterlife package his company offers. Think Vegas with a permanent lake view, but instead of losing your shirt at blackjack, you lose your, entire body. Everything here is customized to your deepest desires. Bowling alley for Nathan, creepy church for someone else, no judgment. He can even make new friends until his loved ones, bless their slow-moving souls, catch up and upload themselves. Suddenly overwhelmed by the whole being a disembodied consciousness thing, Nathan bursts into tears. No worries though. Our chipper guide Nora swoops in with a comforting shoulder pat and a cheery, metaphorically, of course, heads are extra in this economy. Everything will be better tomorrow, she says before hustling him off to dreamland. The next morning, Nathan wakes up with the enthusiasm of a sloth on Valium. Then reality hits him harder than a rogue bowling ball. In-app purchases cost money. And guess who controls the purse strings? Yep, Ingrid. The woman who'd rather be at a party than mourning her recently deceased boyfriend. Priorities, people. Turns out, Nathan's stuck on her family upload plan, meaning she can control everything, from his virtual wardrobe to, gulp, deleting him entirely. Nathan steps out on his balcony and takes in the stunning lake view. He can even change the seasons with a flick of his virtual wrist, because apparently, climate control is included in the deluxe package. But all the beauty fades when he sees Ingrid's grandma chilling by the pool, looking like she stepped out of a silent movie. Turns out, Ingrid uploaded her from an old black and white photo. Cheapskate. To top it all off, a video call with Ingrid shows her living it up at a party. Nathan, meanwhile, is stuck in a digital paradise with a creepy grandma and a controlling girlfriend who just declared, "You can't run away from me now." A shiver runs down Nathan's spine. But hey, denial is a beautiful thing, right? Back in the real world, well, as real as it gets working in the afterlife industry, Nora is chilling with her dad, probably wondering if anyone will ever invent a get-out-of-customer service app. He's sick and might die soon. Nora thinks he should save money for the special program, but he won't because he wants to be with his late wife in real heaven, not a fancy computer program. Meanwhile, in Lakeview, seriously, who comes up with these names? Nathan stumbles into the breakfast lobby ready to refuel, except the food selection looks like it came straight out of a fever dream. Glowing purple pancakes and questionable green sausages. But hey, at least it's all you can eat, right? Wrong. The whole buffet vanishes at 10 a.m. sharp, leaving Nathan staring at empty plates like a dog who just got outsmarted by a squirrel. He then meets Luke, another resident who looks suspiciously chipper for a dead guy. Luke spills the beans, or should we say the virtual beans. The food is just a fancy program, all show and no go. Nathan's outraged. They're charging him for fake food that probably cost them nothing to create. Talk about a money grab. Luke then introduces him to the dark side of the afterlife, the torrent. It's basically a forbidden pathway between the real world and the virtual one, and about as safe as playing hopscotch on a minefield. Apparently, a bunch of newbies can't handle the whole being dead thing, and decide to take the express route back to the land of the living by jumping into the torrent, which sounds messy. Despite the creepy food situation and the looming threat of a digital suicide cult, Nathan finds a few perks to his not-so-heavenly afterlife. The shower pressure is amazing, and hey, who doesn't love being able to pee anywhere without judgment? Still, he'd rather be alive than stuck in this Truman Show for the recently deceased. Things get weirder when Nathan learns there are actually thousands of people in this virtual resort, but the program only allows him to see a small number. This glitches out the whole system, and suddenly everyone's calling him Mr. Brown. The staff knows his deepest secrets, and it's all starting to feel a bit too The Matrix for comfort. So Nathan's freaking out. His hair, poofier than a disco ball's fringe, isn't helping his meltdown. This whole afterlife thing feels less like a spa getaway and more like a bad acid trip. He's on the verge of jumping into the forbidden torrent, a digital suicide express lane, when his perky guide Nora swoops in like a concerned Mary Poppins with a glitch in her umbrella. She tries to calm him down with the New World Blues talk, basically saying it's like any other corporate creation. Weird at first, then weirdly normal. She even throws him a bone, metaphorically, and reveals her real name because he had been addressing her as an angel till now. Nathan, desperate for any shred of normalcy, agrees to give it a shot. Back in the real world, which, let's be honest, doesn't sound much better, Nora's off-duty and ready to mingle. Enter The Nightly, a dating app that basically involves strapping a camera to your chest and hoping for the best. Apparently, pre-sex consent cameras are all the rage these days, followed by mandatory post-coital app reviews. Fun, right? The next day, Nathan gets assigned pet therapy. Sounds cute, right? Wrong. His pet is a talking golden retriever, operated by a therapist from the real world. Because, therapy through a digital puppet dog is totally normal. As productive homework, Nathan has to write down 5 names of people he meets that day. Easy, right? Except everyone seems to be glitching out, calling him Mr. Brown and knowing his deepest fears. Meanwhile, Nora's back at the office, pushing paperwork to get her dad the sweet employee discount on his eventual upload. Looks like Nathan isn't the only one with problems in this wacky world of the living and not so living. So Nora thinks she's finally doing something nice for her dad, snagging him that sweet employee discount on his eventual upload. Except her boss, the Scrooge of the afterlife industry apparently, has a heart as cold as a virtual snowball. Nora's rating is a measly 0.01 shy of the magic 4.6 needed for the discount. Talk about a participation trophy world. Even death has a rating system. Back in Lakeview, Nathan reaches out to Ingrid. Big mistake. Turns out his not-so-grieving girlfriend is busy prepping for his funeral, more excited about the floral arrangements than actually seeing him again. Needing some new material for his therapist-assigned diary. Who knew the afterlife had homework? Nathan wanders the resort. He bumps into Dylan, a kid stuck there since he died at 12. But Dylan's got bigger problems than making new friends. He's too busy battling the game mode thugs. Sounds like even the afterlife isn't all sunshine and virtual rainbows. Next up, Nathan meets David Choak, the former billionaire who's living it up in his luxury afterlife suite. as Nathan brags about his now defunct app idea, a way for people to create their own custom afterlives. David casually drops a bomb. Nathan, according to him, wasn't in a car accident. He was murdered. Apparently his app threatened a $6 billion company, and someone decided a permanent dirt nap was the better option. Nathan, understandably freaked, blows off David's theory. Back on Earth, things get interesting. Nathan's suspicious cousin Fran, now a detective, is investigating his death. And guess what? Nathan's car, apparently totaled in the accident, is found perfectly intact in a junkyard. Looks like Nathan's afterlife adventure just took a dramatic turn from glitchy simulation to murder mystery. Buckle up, because things are about to get a whole lot more real. Or maybe not so real, considering Nathan's already dead. Over in Lakeview, Nathan spills the beans to Nora about his memory lapses. He can't remember stuff like, the name of the app that got him permanently shuffled off this mortal coil. This jogs Nora's memory, the parts that haven't been mysteriously deleted, that is. She remembers finding a giant chunk of his memory files missing a while back. She promises to look into it, but then gets sidetracked by a never-ending queue of needy afterlife newbies. Speaking of needy, Nora's on a desperate quest for 5-star ratings to boost her success rate. Dylan, the resident game mode thug fighter, throws a wrench in her plans by giving her a measly 3 stars. The rest of the day isn't much better, client-wise. Nathan, ever the observant one, notices Nora's slumping shoulders and throws a bunch of 5-star ratings her way. They end up spilling their guts to each other, and Nora feels a weight lift off her digital shoulders. Uh-oh. Is that the faint sound of an afterlife office romance blossoming? Back in her apartment, which probably comes with a complimentary existential dread rug, Nora dives into Nathan's memory mess. The missing chunks are nowhere to be found, but she stumbles upon something interesting. Memories right after the deleted bits. Nathan and his buddy Jamie are walking out of a business meeting, all smug and self-satisfied. A shadowy figure sidles up and asks if they've mentioned their app idea to any big companies. Nathan, bless his naive little heart, says only his family and girlfriend know. The whole interaction leaves a bad taste in Nora's mouth, so she pockets the clip for later investigation. Fast forward to next week, and things are about to get cray-cray in the world of science. Buckle up, because a team of scientists is on the verge of testing a mind-blowing invention. Downloading people from the afterlife back into their living, breathing bodies. Looks like Nathan's afterlife adventure is about to take a wild turn, and Nora might be the only one who can help him navigate this digital labyrinth. The world is holding its breath, or maybe just checking their social feeds, as the first ever download from the afterlife is about to be broadcast live, like some morbid reality show. Meanwhile, Nathan's stuck in Lakeview. Seriously, is there a committee that brainstorms these awful afterlife names, prepping for his funeral under the watchful eye of Ingrid, his not-so-grieving girlfriend? She's got him gussied up in an outfit that screams funeral director's nightmare, basically controlling his afterlife like she controlled their relationship. Still, Nathan clings to a shred of hope. This download experiment, maybe, just maybe, it'll zap him back into his old body. They tune in to watch the test subject get, well, let's just say their head didn't exactly achieve liftoff. Yikes. The experiment goes belly up faster than a week-old souffle. But Nathan remains optimistic. One day, baby, one day. Later that night, it's party time. A funeral extravaganza across LA, New York, and even the virtual world. Nathan shows up with Luke, his afterlife BFF, ready to mingle. Over in New York, Nora crashes the real-world funeral. Because, let's face it, her job is about as exciting as watching paint dry, and a little real-world drama is a welcome change. Back in Lakeview, Nathan's expecting a room full of loved ones, reminiscing about the good times. Instead, it's a ghost town. Well, a virtual ghost town. Turns out, his friends are too busy playing some lame video game to pay their respects. Even Jamie, his best bud, is a no-show. Low blow, dude. To add insult to injury, Nathan's mom lets slip that the money they got from his share of the company was, well, pocket change. Basically, Nathan got stiffed twice. Once in life, and once in death. And with a girlfriend like Ingrid, it looks like a hat trick is coming right up. The party itself is a dud, more like a gathering of strangers than a celebration of Nathan's life. When he confronts Ingrid about the whole mess, she pulls out the ultimate threat, deletion. Yep, she can hit the digital delete button, and poof, Nathan is gone forever. Faced with digital oblivion, Nathan swallows his pride and mumbles an apology. Nora witnesses the whole thing and can't help but feel a pang of sympathy for the guy. Meanwhile, back on the mortal plane, Detective Fran finally corners Nathan and asks him the million-dollar question. Any enemies? Fran throws another wrench into the works. Apparently Nathan's vitals were on the upswing before they shipped him off to be uploaded. Suspicious, or just another one of Fran's conspiracy theories. Nathan, ever the trusting soul, files it under "cops are weird" and moves on. Meanwhile, Nora's back home, making a late-night booty call to the shady dude from Nathan's memory. This Josh character keeps his lips sealed tighter than a clam, refusing to spill the beans about his meeting with Nathan. Looks like Nora's got her own investigation to launch. Back in Lakeview, Nathan's giving his best friend Jamie the good old college try with another call. Same result, voicemail jail. Radio silence from his former BFF is starting to sting worse than a sunburn in this virtual paradise. Nathan might be dead, but friend drama is apparently universal.